Welcome back to Slam Shenanigans. Thanks for viewing. So this is the backyard we've been working on. This is the part that's already level, and now you're seeing the part that this video is going to be about, the part that we need to clear off and level more. We're going to try and put in a above ground pool slightly in with a deck around it and a workout area. And so now you're going to start looking at the Dozer, trying to clear some of this off. One of the biggest challenges I have with this video is that I can't show, I'm not showing the steepness as well as I should. This is my first pass down through here with my little 450 case dozer. And as you can see, I'm just kind of inching because I'm not sure if I'm going to be hitting rocks and slipping sideways or what's into this brush. When we first moved in, I rented a D4 K2 XL something cat dozer, which is fantastic. It's hydro stat, really easy to operate, probably twice the size of my little dozer here. Pushed up some big piles of brush from the left of the screen, kind of almost in front of where the dozer is now, and they've been sitting for 4 to 5 years. So now that we've decided to try and make our yard larger, this is my first pass down through here. If you've been watching the video for a long time and watching me, appreciate it, number one, and number two, you'll know that down where I'm heading is what we call our lower road, and I'm coming in off an access road that I put in when we first moved into the backyard. And you know I've talked about our moon dust before here, so I figured I could get down in one pass. I wasn't sure it was going to back up, but so far so good. And what I'm doing here is I'm trying to position myself to where I'll get above the biggest piles of brush and not push them into the fence to the left and keep them moving downhill, because like I said, this is really steep country. Can't tell because of my poor camera angle, but in this kind of thing, in a dozer, if things go sideways, literally, you need to kind of just roll with the punches and try to keep heading downhill. So I'm trying to make sure that I'm in the best position possible to do that if anything were to go wrong. Get some of these chunks of brush here without grabbing too much, because you can actually get such a big pile of brush in front of you that you just can't see, and you don't know what you're running over. If you're running over oaks you don't want to run over, or if you're running into a tree or into a rock, and it's pretty crazy. I've actually gotten vertigo once, a couple times on a dozer. Once was on the D4 that I rented. You see a tree going down there, a little tree that I didn't want, probably a pine. But so I'll kind of do a mix of voiceover and just let you watch and part of this. But this is me trying to get this first pass from our access road to the backyard, which is just slightly below the upper road. Kind of came in at a diagonal all the way down to the lower road. And once I get that, I just kind of, in my mind, I was hoping to get one pass through there and kind of see what I was working with, because I've walked all this area, but it's so thick that you just can't envision what you need to do overall. And the overall gain here is to try and create more level for the backyard, and then also, because I'm going to be excavating into this access road to gain more flat, I'm going to lose that access because it'll be just too steep to come in from the top. So this part of this, and I'll explain this a little bit later on in the video, but part of this is to try and get a new access road, which will end up in the backyard, but coming from the lower road. So it's a little bit farther to walk things around, but I really want to maintain that access there for equipment, mostly because as we finish this backyard out, I need to haul a bunch of sand in there, or topsoil or something better than the rocky stuff we have that's moon dust, to level the yard out, not only for just general leveling, but we're going to put some turf in. So that'll be part of it. And as you can see, I'm just about to the bottom there, which was a big milestone for me. I'm super happy with that. Now the challenge is, will this dozer come back up? Because as I've said, and you'll see, once you track this stuff and tear it up a little bit, it becomes just 2 feet of powder. And I was not sure I was going to be able to come back up. But as you can see, I'm working it back up here. I don't know if you noticed on the way down, but when I first started this is my left hand was on that grab bar for a reason, And the more I did this, I literally ended up grabbing the brush screen on the back with my right hand, trying to get this thing back up. And there's a couple spots down there, like right there, I think I hit a rock and it kind of, you end up just getting no traction on one side and a lot of traction on the other, and it just spins you. But got a little western on a couple of these, couple of spots in here when I was doing this whole little project. Super impressed with the 450 though. It did its job and it got back up. So there I backed up, and I think I'm taking some more back on down. Again, I apologize. I'm editing on an iPhone, and that's the whole reason I really want to push to get this channel monetized, is to get A, better computer, B, better filming cameras, so that I can actually provide better quality for all you guys to see what I'm doing, and it documents it better, so it's a benefit to me too, because a lot of what this channel is just what we're doing around the house, so, and in our lives. So appreciate you coming along for it, and we'll see how this goes. So after a little messing around down there in the bottom, I'm gonna try and back all the way up here, and then I think I'll kick it out to the video audio here in a second after I get up to the top. And I think that spot that you saw me just a few minutes ago kind of slipped sideways. I think it gets me again here. There's a big rock or something in there that I wasn't seeing or didn't doze up. There's that little section right there. There was and it'll continue to get me. Some of these rocks are just boulders that are in the dust, and some of them are icebergs. And you see right there how gives you, if you know dozers, that about 30 seconds ago you saw that back end come up. That's how steep this is. Couldn't believe it made it all the way back up. Like I said earlier, I think I was successful getting them up and back quite a bit, but you'll see the full story here. Kind of getting back up over this little lip. Wow. I am pretty darn impressed with my little dozer. That thing did awesome. I can't believe it backed all the way up here. I thought for sure it wouldn't make it. Probably won't make it twice. So might make it down there. As you can see, I got carry my magnet with me. I got to push all the way through. So I think now I can kind of, if I can keep backing up, I can grab a little bit up here and keep pushing it down there to clear it out. Pretty stoked. I think I'll rely on the GoPro on that for now, and then I'll just take some stills with this. All right, so this is some stills of just kind of the brush. And here you can see how easy it is to get a lot of brush in front of that dozer blade. And then this is the majority of the pile that's left that I haven't pushed down, that started from 4 years ago. Now we'll go into some time lapse. And you'll see that I kind of make a fork down here, and that's kind of goes with what I said earlier about you kind of got to go with whichever way the dozer's going, and that's what I ended up doing there. So it's kind of that, and we'll go into some video here, and I'll talk on the screen.
Well, I don't know how good it shows up on camera, but that's some pretty good sketchy craziness down there. Let's see if I can turn this around. All right. So phase one of, well, probably about phase 20 of clear out the backyard and make the backyard. So probably already narrated part of this. It's usually what I do, but here's our backyard. We have 2 big oak trees, 3 actually, maybe 4. Well, there's one behind the excavator, one beside the excavator, one there, and then that one, so 4 really. But trying to keep those as focal points in the backyard. Try to keep this little one here. But basically I can't excavate near those trees or their drip line for the roots, and we want to put a little pool in. I'm going to dig a hole for an above ground pool down, and we'll put a deck in. So I kind of need to excavate this out here, which doesn't work with my fence line that I had put in originally. So we're going to move the fence line from up there out more, probably down on the inside of that tree. Probably have a gate somewhere about there, so the fence will be out here now. Gate will be there, do a switchback, and then hopefully that way, because I still want to be able to get into the backyard with the tractor, especially for making the backyard, to bring sand in to level things out for the turf, and just in general want to be able to get some sort of equipment back there in the future. So I think between digging all of this out here and the pool somewhere right about here, kind of angled this way, so we'll kind of not be able to see it from the house partly, and then maybe a workout shed here for the wife. I think I'll have plenty of dirt to get it leveled more and out that way, and maybe actually probably don't even really need to level it more that way if I can get around the pool, but I do need to on the small side of that little oak tree go out that way so I can bring the tractor in or equipment in there later, and then have the road go here, probably beyond that tree there where this opening is, and then switch back and then come out down there. So we're getting there. I'm excited. I think I'm close enough now to where I can open this fence up, get the excavator with a smaller bucket in there, and grab this brush and that brush, put it over here to where I can push it down there and get it down the road a little bit. Because right now that, if I try to push it with the dozer, I'd take out an oak beyond it that I don't want to do. So with the excavator, I can just grab it and pull it out to where I got a push lane on it. But I'm pretty impressed with that little 450. You can see here, when it gets soft in our moon dust, we get trenches, but she climbed up out of there. Very, very happy with her. Gonna go check and make sure I got plenty of water in it tonight, and then I might attack that with the excavator tonight. If you like what you're watching, hit that subscribe button. Now's a good time. This will probably be mid-video. Might be towards the end of it. I might segment it up. But hit that like button. Throw me a comment. Trying to grow the channel. I'd love for it to get monetized so I can get a little better equipment and make better quality videos for you guys. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned. More to come.
All right, so we're gonna do a little side thing here. Little chainsaw work, so it's kind of all part of the deal here. But a buddy of mine loaned me his Sthil 500i. This saw is an absolute beast. And so what do? Smarty. First thing I do, I limb some very small logs. They're like 8 or 10 inches. Probably not smart for an old guy to try and wear himself out right away before he really tries to saw out. But check this thing out, man. It's a beast.
This is definitely not a limbing saw.
So since I had the saw ready to go, I kind of went down to the lower part of my property, and this is the last of the Snowmageddon cleanup. This is a very large cedar that went down, so I figured I'd use this big saw to kind of reach out and grab some big chunks out of this out, just to try and cut them up into spots so you can see how dense this is. You can see that a lot of this has died. If you look in the middle there, which is a Sthil here now, this tree was so large it took down about 6 other trees. So, and then I threw in a little shot of a turkey here. And now we're going to go back up top, and this is where I'm going to take down a snag that's been sitting here. Figured I might as well try felling with this big old beast. So at this point, I'm already pretty whooped from limbing with a 500i and a 3-foot bar, and so I'm kind of taking my time, making sure I'm not being stupid, and things can go bad. But just wanted to make sure I tried falling with the saw while I had it, kind of experience it, and here we go. And as you can tell by the way the thing snapped, that it was standing dead for quite a while. It's pretty rotten. That's all going in the burn pile. Yep, new shirt, new day. That's how you can tell when I'm switching days here. Anyways, I'm changed the 4-foot bucket out here for the 2-footer, and I'm going to start pulling some of this fencing material out. Right there was a batch of like 6 or 8 of them that were in the dirt, and that was a gutter that was on the house that I had to remove when we moved in, past inspection. And I'm just trying to scratch a spot here to where we can go from flat to, I'll slow it down a hair, flat to the angle. And you'll kind of see a little bit there in relation to the house, how steep that is. And I'll try to move the camera here. I do try to move the camera a little bit, just not every 5 or 4 minutes. You can see some of the steepness by what I'm doing with the excavator, trying to use. And then if you watch the blade, how much I actually level the house up because of the steepness. And what I'm doing here is actually grabbing some of this brush that's off to the left and putting it into a push lane for the dozer, so that I don't have to try to swing the dozer way over there and push over trees that I don't want. You can see my boom way out trying to get up the hill. And, oh, did you catch that? What was that? Let's slow it down a little bit. As I was moving it up, I got a little piece of a round of firewood or whatever that I sent down the hill there. It wasn't a rock, it was firewood. Pretty sure it was firewood. Might have been a rock. I don't know. But that was funny. It was worth slowing. This might be giving a better picture of the steepness of this ground versus yesterday, where I was actually looking down the same slope. So, and unfortunately I didn't turn the time lapse to see the sketchiest turn right here, trying to get back up there to level. But anyways, we're going to continue on. So again, this is one of those deals where it's just, I get so busy working, I don't necessarily put the camera in the best angle. But now I'm starting to take the dozer and work, pushing some of this dirt down towards the big oak trees. And starting to actually cut some of the hill out. I played around with whether or not I wanted to use the dozer entirely or a combination of the excavator, and you'll see how this works out. But this is the first part of the dozer only. All right, so here we're moving the point of view from downhill side looking up to basically the upper side. I just kind of made a parking spot for the dozer there. That's what that was. Now I'm starting to scratch out past the drip line of these big oaks, kind of starting the initial excavation of how I want all this level. So this is kind of the outside edge line, and I ended up kind of scratching out a bit and then got the excavator up and out of the way. And I kind of switched to the dozer and said, okay, let's see what we can do pushing wise, and just kind of keep pushing it out past this oak tree. And the oak tree, yeah, it does have some dirt up around its base, but it's also got a tremendous amount of rocks in there. And so eventually, once I'm done with all this leveling, I'm going to kind of dig that back out. That tree there only has about 1.5 feet, maybe 2 feet at the most, and most of it's covered with rocks. So it's kind of upper on the upslope, and not as covered as the bottom one that I'll show you in a little bit. And I got a chance, or got an idea to fix that one too. So I'm kind of leaving in my walk in here just so you see that this is actually the graded part of the old road, the access road, so it's not as steep. But as I start doing this, you'll see this is a pretty sketchy drop off if you just were to start barely dozing. So you'll see me kind of start in and cut a little bit and then back up. And it was kind of funny because the dust in this portion of the video, I think this is the section, yeah, it almost looks like a witch's cauldron. This is just our moon dust. It's crazy. And you'll see me, at first I'm kind of just pushing a little bit, trying to get this little big break over at the top to where it'll be more gradual. And then I just don't drop off into that hole there right below me. That dust is just crazy. And then as I start pushing this, and I'll probably say this again a little bit later, but you'll see me push a little bit of dirt and then I'll back up like a foot or back up a foot or two, and you're like, what is he doing? And it's like, what's going on is that I'm seeing bigger sized rocks that are coming in between the blade where I'm pushing stuff in front of it and the actual track. And what happens is if you get a big rock in there, that side of the dozer goes up and then you can't keep level and you kind of lose control. So you'll see that a few times in this little push here. It never does it justice, but this was a good little western spot. Around just so you can see it's steep. Even trying to get up that little 2-foot rise there, it's a bit.
That may not seem like much to some people, but since I've moved into this place, I wanted to be able to drive in between these two trees. And I finally got there tonight. So I actually kind of wanted to just walk through there, but I got a dozer through there, so I'm pretty stoked. Not bad for a couple hours. Getting better. Getting some more level. Now that I'm out of the drip line of the trees, I can start excavating back into the hillside. I'll end up trying to keep a 2-to-1, so I don't have to do much, but I'll probably put a little wood retainer there since I got timber in a mill. Anyways, thanks for watching. Now would be a good time to hit that subscribe button. Share this with your friends. Thanks. Keep watching.